Yes, Katiba at 15. Today being Katiba Day, it is a big story on the front page of the Daily Nation. 15 years of promise and hope. In 2010, Kenya's adopted a new constitution after its overwhelming approval in a referendum, bringing to an end a 2-decade-long struggle for reforms. While progress is evident today, challenges do persist. This is a one story that has been given prominence, acres and acres, pages 4, 5, 6 and 7 of this paper. Just some of the highlights here, hits and misses. On hits, we have devolution, public participation, which I don't think, I think just on paper, public participation. Judicial independence, for the very first time we saw a court actually nullify a presidential election. That was a first. Even dunia iliangalia kusema we jaji ako sawa. Matters Bill of Rights, some of them that have been ignored. Matters misses state repression, when it comes to Bill of Rights. Compromised parliament, that I agree completely. Corruption, defiance of court orders. So numerous attempts to amend the Supreme Law have failed, with the latest campaign underway with the NADCO process. This paper continues to document the 3-day visit by His Highness the Aga Khan the 5th. And yesterday was at State House, Nairobi. And he's seen there on the front page with President William Ruto, where they signed documents and they're pictured there exchanging these documents. Elsewhere, pale juu, Nairobi MCA's plot to impeach Sakaja and his deputy. That's a new one. Walikuwa wamesema Sakaja ameingiza MCA's box, lakini ni kama
kitu inaenda mrama.
Simu ijalia. Simu ijalia. So Nairobi MCAs are plotting to impeach Sakaja. That story is on page. What are the details?
At least 41 MCAs must sign motion before tabling. Nasema kwamba political storm is in the making at City Hall after members of the Nairobi County Assembly yesterday resolved to initiate impeachment proceedings against Governor Johnson Sakaja and his deputy James Mushiri. This was the culmination of a charge to our meeting at the Assembly, attended by 96 of the 122 MCAs, including Speaker Ken Ngondi and Majority Leader, of course, Peter Mwatok. Emerging from the meeting, several MCAs declared that Mr. Sakaja and his deputy must go, accusing them of being out of touch rather, with Nairobi's challenges. That
is also something to discuss, the way MCAs always hold that governors at ransom. Ile story unaambiwa umekataa kufanya hivi, impeach.
Enda home.
Utaenda nyumbani. Wewe utaenda nyumbani wewe. So is it progress then as far as devolution is concerned? Back page, matters CAF. Yes, Morocco versus Madagascar. That will be the final. Lile trophy tunazungumzia. Madagascar, who beat Kenya in the quarterfinals, managed to beat, who were they playing against jana? Walipiga Sudan.
Sudan ndio walikuwa wamebaki tu, only hope, lakini sasa.
Hata huyo Sudan sio, ingekuwa South Sudan it would have been better.
Really?
Yes, Sudan is further.
After tumetoka, Tanzania wakatoka, Uganda wakatoka. We were just looking at Sudan.
Sudan is not even part of the East African community. But South Sudan though is. So Madagascar walikachapa Sudan. Meanwhile Morocco wakachapa wale wengine wanaitwa nani?
Who?
Morocco walichapa nani?
Walichapa nani?
Nakwambia Kenyans we lost interest in this tournament kabisa. After they left, acha nikwambia, let me just confirm for you. Okay. I don't know why they beat Senegal. Morocco beat Senegal. Yani Senegal was in the semi-final and we didn't even bother. But they played in Tanzania. Meanwhile, Madagascar beat Sudan at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium. No, them they were the ones in Tanzania. Wale wengine walikuwa Uganda. But they are meeting here on 30th for the finals. Ile kikombe tumeonyesha na itakuwa pa 1 p.m. watakuwa wanang'ang'ania. So who will you be supporting between Morocco and Madagascar?
Morocco.
Why not Madagascar? Sababu walipiga Kenya.
Yes. That's the only reason.
All right, that's the story on the back page. Madagascar into the final. That's the Daily Nation.
Taifa Leo, ndoa ya mahasimu. Hatua ya Rais William Ruto kuwashambulia wabunge kwa madai ya kubobea kwenye ufisadi inaonekana kumponza baada ya bunge na mahakama kuamua kuzika tofauti zao na kufanya kazi kwa pamoja. Idara ya mahakama na bunge, asasi ambazo zinakinzana kwa kila jambo, zaungana kukashifu serikali kuu. Now, legislatures versus executive. Vita iko hapa. Rais William Ruto na Mwadhama Rahim Aga Khan watano katika ikulu ya Nairobi hapo jana, akimtunukia ama akimpa tuzo ya Elder of the Golden Heart hapo jana. Vidokezo zaidi: fidia, Ruto ateua wataalamu 14 ikiwemo rais wa LSK Faith Odhiambo ambaye ni naibu mwenyekiti wa jopo la watu 15 anayeongoza. Hii ni Makao Mutua.
Hii ni ile ya unaitwaje?
Protest victim compensation.
Okay.
Magavana wakataa agizo la Duale na serikali ilikuwa imetangaza kuwa wahudumu wa UHC wataajiriwa county. UHC staff, honestly, devolution hapo. We'll be asking these questions today. Maelfu ya raia wahama jiji la Gaza wa Palestina jana waliendelea kuondoka Gaza baada ya Israeli kuangusha mabomu. Na kule juu, katiba ilivyofifisha mamlaka ya rais na marais wa zamani Mzee Jomo Kenyatta na Daniel Arap Moi walikuwa na mamlaka yaliyopita kiwango cha kawaida cha utendaji wa serikali. Masala ya sporti: Kindario asitiri Liverpool, Ngumoha 16 afunga bao la ushindi dakika ya akona miaka 16. Okay. Afunga bao la ushindi dakika ya 100 kufuatia pasi ya Sala.
Alright.
Taifa Leo.
Taifa Leo, tuangazie Standard. Anachoma anasema scandalous. Misplaced priorities. So now, as Kenyans struggle to put food on the table amid the rising cost of living, the Ruto administration is spending millions of dollars on Washington lobbyists to polish its battered image on Capitol Hill. Tulisema we don't care what happens in the US. Yeah. Now, this follows a Republican senator's motion in Congress to reassess Kenya's standing, citing links to Sudanese warlords and a domestic record marked by abductions and killings. The Ruto presidency now appears intent on saving face. That story is on page 4. And they have some of the bits of the contract. This is an engagement agreement between Kenya and these lobbyists. Lakini wamelipwa mamilioni kadhaa ili wasaidie kusave face. And according to the Standard, this is purely scandalous. And it's the only story on the front page of the Standard.
I think 272 million per year of taxpayers' money is going to a US lobbying firm at a time when millions of Kenyans are going hungry.
Now, unajua Standard kitu wamefanya on that story, if you look up chini on page 4, wamesema what 272 million shillings per year can do to improve education sector. Yeah. So ile pesa mnatumia huko ingekuwa inafanya hivi. Yeah. So wanasema when looked at from how much the government spends annually in the education sector, 22.7 million per month might seem negligible. Yet this is the money has potential to do a lot of good in Kenya, starting from offering basic but essential services and afford Kenyan children dignity as they pursue their education. You can read that story on page 4. They juxtapose it with that story on ile wameita scandalous. Ile SHA debate inaendelea. Page 2 of the Standard, Ladnan Hospital, stake unclear amid Metro Group claims. Hii story ni kama itaendelea kuchoma. You can read it on page 2. Matters devolution, Matters Constitution at 15 also covered extensively on the Standard, pages 6, 7, and 8. So si ati ni kama wameignore your story, they still have it. And on the back page, Madagascar and not Sudan. It's Madagascar and not Sudan in CHAN final. Madagascar beat Sudan 1-0. Meanwhile, Morocco and Senegal had to go for penalties. Kama ile Kenya tulipelekwa na Madagascar, Morocco wakapita nayo. All right, that's the Standard.
Kenya tulipitwa na? Kenya tulipigwa
na Madagascar kwa penalties.
Morocco wakapita nayo. Yeah.
Wakapita.
All right, I hear you. People Daily: Ruto policies killing dreams. Several flagship laws fronted by President William Ruto's parliamentary allies, once touted as reform milestones, are now triggering widespread public frustration. This is a special feature by this newspaper. It's on page 4, and they say even as government points to improved revenue collection, citizens feel pain of raided pockets, erosion of public trust, and failure of key election promises in the bottom-up economic agenda.
Yes, when laws backfire.
Matiang'i's political gamble and fresh attempts to conquer Mount Kenya. The former Interior CS is quietly testing the waters in the region in his quest to make history as Kenya's 6th head of state. This story is on page 5. Housing levy, why Kenyans are on their own. This story is on page 5. Tuangalia wanasema vipi, why
Pale chini.
mbona we are on our own.
Auditor General amesema
yes,
hii law ya housing levy does not allow her to audit the affordable housing.
Control of budget.
Or control of budget.
Yes.
She cannot audit that levy. So your pesa, however itatumika, it's not under her control. That's why they're saying you're on your own when it comes to housing levy.
All right, that's the People Daily.
All right. The Star, fresh, independent and different, steers clear of matters constitution, talks about other things. Why reality check awaits rebel MPs in Raila Ruto camps. Say they're buoyed by unprecedented clamor for good governance from Gen Z. They have images of some of these politicians ranging from Babu Owino, Caleb Amisi, Edwin Sifuna, Gathoni wa Mushomba na wengineo hapo, kina Anthony Kibagendi. The story is on page 4 and 5, I should think so. Page 4 and 5 of this paper. Reality check. The reality of Kenyan politics could soon hit hard the vibrant youthful leaders threatening to take the old guard. Yeah. The Stars established that this weekend the team will be in Busia County. However, analysts warn that the real politic could soon scatter the group even before the 2027 polls. Can they last as Kenya moja together? Squeezy every Sunday wanaenda church pamoja.
Election kwa 2027.
Ni mbali. Other stories on the front page of the Star, game of musical chairs at Ministry of Health as another scam rocks SHA. This is what was big on the front pages yesterday, SHA. Na ile wanapoteza pesa deadly. Agency to audit governor's tenure every 10 years as new bill caps chief officer's number. Na pale juu, big read, corruption turning investors away from Kenya. That's according to the UK envoy. Hata Raymond Omolo anazungumzia CHAN 2024. Anasema once a gamble but now model of future continental tournaments. Of course we'll be hosting AFCON 2027. That will be bigger than CHAN. Yes. Sasa tunajua how it feels.
We will be hosting it, ama we are hoping to host it?
No, we'll be hosting it. Because we are co-hosting with Tanzania and Uganda just like we've done now.
Okay.
2020. At least now we know we have a stadium. Yeah. You know, previously we didn't have.
Historia, Fred. You know, when they scrapped off NHIF, they say that this SHA was coming to save whatever was happening at Afya House. SHA imesema chonjo. Let me show you.
I can do it better than NHIF.
Acha nikuonyeshe game.
1,000 hospitals, and I'm getting it from the dailies yesterday, more than 1,000 hospitals have actually been created to defraud SHA. And 10 billion shillings is what has been flagged through the system, that these were attempts to defraud the fund of 10 billion shillings, meaning that there could be successful attempts. Kuna ile pesa ilipita. Alafu kuna hospitali ingine kuko Elwak.
Nyandiwa.
Elwak kuko hata sijui wapi. Walipata 55 million 2 months after SHA imekuwa rolled out. Ati sasa wametibu wagonjwa within 2 months. Unakumbuka people were very slow to register for SHA. So how is it that it was rolled out in October and by December a hospital in Elwak had treated patients to an extent that they invoiced SHA 55 million shillings.
Nyinyi. And then the CS atake ulize maswali.
Hiyo tunaambia wacha Kenyans wajisomee. Sisi hatusemi kitu.
Business Daily, flour tycoons buy Savannah cement and 3.8 billion shillings deal, and they say a group of flour mill tycoons and associates of the makers of Superloaf bread have acquired bankrupt Savannah cement for 3.8 billion shillings, ending a 2-year search for suitors after KCB and Absa Bank faced the firm in receivership due to some debt amounting to 14.1 billion shillings. Other stories here, Aga Khan the 5th receives highest civilian honor, and President William Ruto conferring Kenya's highest civilian honor, the Chief of the Order of the Golden Heart, on His Highness Prince Rahim Al Hussaini, Aga Khan the 5th, at State House, Nairobi yesterday. And the award is in recognition of his commitment to the service of Kenyans and humanity at large. That story is on page 8. Other stories here, 400 wealthy Kenyans fall off the dollar and millionaires list. The number of Kenyan dollar millionaires dropped by 400 in the 18 months to June, amid pointers that the rich moved cash abroad amid uncertainty caused by Kenya's slowing economy and last year's deadly youth protest.
Si ati wamekuwa poor, they just moved their money abroad.
Yes. Now when you're abroad pia wanaogopa kuleta huko.
Na kuna mtu anataka kuleta pesa Kenya.
Investors wanaogopa. On the ticker, Mbadi expects its 97 billion shillings World Bank loan in September.
Another loan, eh? Okay.
The Treasury now expects the World Bank Group to clear a 96.9 billion shillings loan next month after Parliament passed an improved version of a conflict of interest bill. Old Mutual to sell real estate properties, and Treasury floats new 60 billion shillings bonds. They say the government has returned to the market for new borrowing worth 60 billion shillings via 3 reopened Treasury bonds. These are the stories making headlines in the Business Daily today.
All right. Once again, a reminder that the conversation today will be focused on matters Constitution, Katiba at 15, taking stock of the progress, the hits and misses of the Constitution 2010, 15 years after promulgation. We'll be having this notable advocates of the High Court, Ishmael Nyaribo, Kibe Mungai, and Harrison Kinyanjui in studio in a short while. After that, we'll be getting it from the youth as well.
Yes, absolutely. Like we mentioned at the start of the show, it promised 3 major things, of course, freedom and rights, devolution, and checks on power. Have we been able to do that 15 years on? And of course, during the 2010 Constitution, of course, the promulgation, a lot of the young people now were shaping conversations, or still children. So how do we now?
Because a 25-year-old now must have been 15. No. Must have been 10 then. Must have been 10 when this was promulgated.
Yeah.
So now any person even who's 30, alikuwa 15.
Bado watoto.
Bado tu watoto. But how do they, most of these young people are yet, did not experience the old constitution. Yeah, so they don't understand it. But do they feel that the Bill of Rights probably is actually, do they enjoy a wider space? And as far as the rights provided by the constitution is concerned?
So we'll be having Hans Rop, Josephat Kemanye, political analyst and Jerry Miner, as well as Faith Matayan, youth advocates, to have this conversation on Katiba 15, an extension of, what is it called? State of the Nation.
State of the Nation, yes. But ukitaka kujua ukweli wa mambo, hata ukisoma gazeti, unaenda kwa cartoon ndio